do a fair use. Fair use. I'm not making any money. Just for educational purpose. And criticism. Fair use. Fair use. I'm not making any money. The political poll. It says the political poll. Top U.S. allies are turning towards China and instead blame Trump. Right? So call Haloyim, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahweh with the lesson. And continuing on, it says European allies broadly support building closer ties to China and believes America's role as the global superpower is fading. Right. Because basically this is all set up. This is set up, right, from the elites. This is what they wanted to do anyway. I remember back in 08, 09, around that time, 2010, they were spending years speaking about how China was going to be the next superpower. And Trump speaking recklessly to its allies, doing all these different things, is, I believe it was, a setup, right? Because you got wars, rumors of wars, and the world is a stage, right? Whether you understand it or not, right? It's all a stage, because you got to look at, matter of fact,
73 of our soldiers was captured by the Iranian military. You probably ain't gonna hear about that, right? But this is what happens when the head of our fucking military, the top fucking dog of our fucking military, was literally a Fox News host last year. This is what happens. 173 of our soldiers captured by the Iranian military. Fam, you talking about the disorganization, the dysfunction, the sloppiness? No fucking wonder with all the military precision we have. We aiming missiles at little fucking girls. You talking about the biggest DEI hire of all fucking times. Fam, this is what happens. This is what happens when the head of our country is a senile, demented, stupid motherfucker. And especially when you got the backing of stupid motherfuckers like you dumbass Trumpers. Once again, 173 of our brave fucking soldiers captured by the Iranian military. This is by far the most dysfunctional, most disorganized U.S. military of all time.
The Fox News host that Donald Trump picked to replace Joe Biden's defense secretary, whose resume is this, said, while having this resume, that some black troops aren't qualified. That's rich. This is the same guy who, during his Senate confirmation hearing yesterday, slammed DEI by saying this.
Front, you have to tear out DEI and CRT initiatives, root and branch out of institutions.
I mean, this is the same guy. If my resume was that small and padded and I was looking for a job to replace somebody with a resume like this, I would do my homework, but he didn't even do that. Yesterday, when senators were peppering him with questions, Senator Tammy Duckworth asked him to name certain members of an alliance. He was like, I don't know. He didn't name any of them. And then when he did name some of them, all the nations that he mentioned, none of them were in that alliance. Then she asked him to name some of the agreements that he would have to, create as the defense secretary. He didn't know any of them. And she said, Before you come up for a job, it'd be a good idea for you to research and know what the job requires. United States, other people in the world are watching us. We can't afford for them to know that the guy who's going to be the defense secretary is doing all the job training. Like, he's this woefully unqualified. Like, he has no clue. And we do know from his answers or non-answers that he plans to be Donald Trump's yes man. Last term, Donald Trump had principal generals, 4-star, 5-star generals. So when Donald Trump asked them to shoot protesters, which is against the Constitution, which is against the First Amendment, those generals said, no, we can't do that. When Donald Trump recently said that he's going to use military force to take over Greenland and Panama that do not belong to the United States, are not on sale, they asked him, would you carry out that order, which would be unconstitutional because only Congress can declare war. The president cannot declare war. If Donald Trump asks you to do something that's unconstitutional, would you do it? Instead of saying no, because he wants to please Donald Trump, he will refuse to answer, which tells us he's unqualified. That's not only is he unqualified, that's disqualified because he serves the interests of the American people. And he does what Congress tells him to. And the military is supposed to be apolitical. But yet you look and sound like, based on your non-answers, that you plan to implement whatever Donald Trump says he wants. He wants to be an authoritarian. He wants to go beyond the scope and the realms and the depths and the reach of his power and do whatever. He thinks he's king. He thinks Article 2 gives him power to do everything. It's not. We know from last time, a lot of stuff he tried to get done didn't get done because he got challenged in court. People reined him back. It was ineffective. And so it was important and really great that he had principal generals back then to tell him no. Even Steve Bannon was like, you can't do that. Pete Hegseth is a yes man. He's just happy to get the job. He knows he's unqualified. So, of course, he's going to do whatever Donald Trump tells him to do. We can't have him enough, please. I just hope to God he doesn't get he probably will, but that's sad. So the Fox News host...
Dr. Oz, the heart surgeon turned talk show host turned politician who's now President Trump's pick to oversee the country's health insurance programs for some 150 million Americans. Let's start with his name. Yes, he is a real doctor. Dr. Mehmet Oz got his start at Columbia University, where he was a respected heart surgeon. He later became a household name after appearing on Oprah's talk show, which led to his Emmy-winning spin-off, The Dr. Oz Show. 13 seasons later, Oz shifted to politics, running for Senate in Pennsylvania and earning Trump's endorsement before ultimately losing. As he eyes his new role, Oz is again facing criticism for his history of promoting questionable health products and his investments in health insurance and pharmaceutical companies.
Coming forward now, I helped pull the wool over America's eyes towards a guy that should not be president, should never be president, and should be fired from the whole thing.
Well, talk a little bit about the way that that Trump was in reality versus the Trump that people saw on the show.
Well, what you see right now is sort of what he was in reality. He was, to a large degree, someone who was an entertainer. He really was not a good businessman. Our job is, from a marketing perspective, for the conceit of the show, was to make it seem like he was a legitimate businessman, competent, good judgment, compassion when needed. Mm-hmm. None of those things were actually apparent, but that's what we had to do to make the show work. And so we created that narrative, made it seem like it was money, like he was living in royalty, with the cars and the limousines and the helicopter all labeled Trump and gilded, like the gilded New York age, and then had to position him as a great potential CEO.
Yeah.
And I say potential because he never really was a CEO. Right. It was a lot of little businesses that he had. Yeah. But to make the show work, we had to make it seem like that. And unfortunately, because we just pummeled American with those messages, that remains there right now. And to many people, even though there is significant things that you can see right now where that's not true, many people think it is. And right now with the economy being one of those things that people are looking at, we made him seem to be a very smart businessman. Yeah. And quite honestly, that is not true, because he wouldn't have 4 bankruptcies and then ultimately 6 during the time of Apprentice if he was that good.
So this is Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. It says, why do the heathen, right, meaning all these nations, right, rage, right? So all these heathen, these nations are raging, right? It says and the people imagine a vain thing. See, because this is the way the elites are showing you that they're done with America. And that's why I put those 3 clips in there. So you have the guy who was a anchor, a news anchor or whatever he was on Fox, but then became some general, whatever, you know. You have Dr. Oz, who's I guess technically he's a doctor, but you're not a doctor on that level. As far as there's specific doctors for specific reasons for a reason. Like if you're a heart surgeon, then you know about hearts. You don't know everything there is to know about being a doctor. You know what I mean? And then, not to mention, to be a doctor overall, you needed to be taught and learned about the overall health, not just the conditions, but also the laws. Like, you know what I mean? Because these things have to do with giving people benefits and certain things. So how the hell is he at the top? It's just because these people were this popular figure, right? And then of course you got Trump, and this guy, what he's saying, he created the image that make people think Trump was going to have some type of competence into maybe balancing the budget and keeping the country and building it back better, right? Making America great again, so to speak, right? And he was saying, and basically what he's saying is that wasn't by accident or coincidence that they did it that way, is to put the minds of the people at ease. So basically it was predictive programming at its finest. He's saying he regrets it now, but he's not saying the overall what it is. It was predictive programming, which government means. That was a predictive programming psyop from the government, from the U.S. government, to create that show, to put that opinion in your head, right? Government meaning mind control. That was part of the mind control. But what this is, the heathen are raging, and the point what I was going to say is these they had already decided. I remember back in 2008, they were saying China was going to be the next superpower, and so these elites are showing you that they're done with America, to put these TV these TV people in front of you. It's to mock you, it's a slap in the face, and to show you that's how stupid you are, and that they're done with you. Because it says what? The kings of the earth sat themselves and their rulers, which going into the shadow government, the elite, the Illuminati. So all these different kings, which you call, a president, prime ministers, they all have to come to whatever meeting they, you know what I mean? They have to go to the Bilderberg meetings, and Jekyll Islands, and they have to go to these the G summits and these different meetings, secret meetings, right? Councils, basically, together against Yahweh, right? And ultimately, this is all to come against Bible prophecy, because they figure, hey, if we could change everything over to China, so when the Lord comes back, it was offset prophecy, because it's meant to be that when the Lord comes back, Esau's in charge. So if the Lord comes back and we throw everything over to China, then it basically makes God a liar. Because now you're saying Esau's the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of the fire. But guess what? We're going to show you that Esau's not ruling the world. Moab is ruling the world. The Chinese is ruling the world. So it can't be Esau's the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that follow, because Jacob's not in charge, right? Correct? Which would be wrong, because behind the scenes and the rulers, right? Your rulers are Edomites. You're the Amalek. You're the bankers. And that's what it's ultimately talking about. The bankers are going to be in charge, right? To taking counsel against Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, and against his anointed, right? So against the elect, trying to stop prophecy from being fulfilled. That way, that the elect doesn't get the kingdom, right? Right? And so they don't go into slavery, right? Because let me get that real quick, because we have here right here. So in 2000, so in the year 2000, right, there were 9 countries without a Rothschild-owned central bank, right? And these are all the 9 countries that did not have a Rothschild central bank. But as you see, someone had went ahead and showed you from 2000 to now to 2026. Remember, they had the fight against Kuwait, right? They had a fight against Syria. They went and took Gaddafi down, which brought down Libya, right? Sudan, right? It says coming, which they just got Venezuela, right? So it's not coming now. So that's actually happened now. The Venezuela, it has happened, right? And then Afghanistan, right? And then now you have the very last 2 or last 3, which would be Iran, Cuba, and North Korea, that does not have a Rothschild central bank. See, and they're not just going over there to bully North Korea, because North Korea is a lot smaller. So I mean, it would have been better for them to go over there and fight against North Korea. But China already told them if they mess with North Korea, that they're going to join in, which that's all happening now anyway, because of the 170 soldiers that got captured. Russia helped, and then the interceptors, or the comm system that allows them to still work their system, their communication system, because America put in jammers, but China built a thing where even if they put a jammer, that their operations could still work. They made some type of satellite where the operation could still work, and they gave it to Iran. So those are other countries helping Iran anyway in this war, right? And I believe that's what it is right now. So as you can see, I believe still it's only Iran, Cuba, and now North Korea are the only ones that do not have a Rothschild central bank, right? And the Rothschilds are who? That's Amalek. Yeah, so it says, this is Genesis chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generation of Esau, who is Edom, which is their descendants. So it's not talking about Esau is just one person. It's talking about Esau and then his descendants being the Edomites. Esau, who is Edom, right? So yes, I'm skipping down here real quick to Genesis 36 and 12. It says Timnah was concubine, right? So even Esau believed in having concubines, having multiple wives and concubines. To Eliphaz, Esau's son. So if Esau's son have a son, that will make it his what? His grandson. Okay? And she bore to Eliphaz Amalek, which is his grandson, right? Which that's the small hatters. That's who the Rothschilds are. The Rothschilds are Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife, right? So showing you that this is Esau's grandson, right? Yeah, so this is 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, right, which is the angel speaking to Esdras, right? Or Ezra, right? Ezra, which in this they call him Esdras, right? And said unto me, the angel, from Abraham unto Isaac, right? Which that's where that direct lineage comes through, the blessing, the charisma, the unction, right? Faith, the Holy Spirit goes through these people, man, right? The sons of God, right? Who's in the image of God, right? Some dumb nigga was on TikTok saying that the only one in the image of God is Yahweh Shai. Yes, it does say that Yahweh Shai is the image of the Father, but so are we. We're his children, right? It does say that in Psalms that ye are gods. Though we should die like mere men, ye are gods. So didn't he not make us in his image? well, in the image of Yahweh Shai, actually. But if he made, if Yahweh Shai made us in his image, and the Father made him in his image, so what image are we? We're in the image of the Father through the Son, right? Just simplicity with these people, man. But that's why I don't really deal with that too much. I kind of talked a little bit. I was in an argumentative moment, and I kind of talked back on in the little chat a couple of times. But yeah, I don't mess with Jake, man. They be on some, and the truth is out there, man. And everybody's looking for their niche to try to make a couple of dollars off of Jake's ignorance. You know, then he's gonna put up his Cash App or some type of cash thing, so he can start making money off of whatever lost soul would follow him and send him money, you know, and try to sound deep. But yeah, so it says from Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob, right, and Esau were born, Jacob's hand held fast the heel of Esau, which is it's also a representation of something of him holding his hand holding his heel or his foot, right? Symbolizing what? Tripping him up, or supplanter, to trip him up, right? Says the hand of man is betwixt, right? It means between the heel and the hand. Other questions Ezra asked us not. So it's saying that this kingdom, Esau's the end of the world, right? End of his world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Just saying how the hand is on his heel. So when Esau falls, showing that when he'll be ruling at the end of this world, right? The end of this eon of this rulership, which that's where we're at now. Esau's on top. Obviously, the Rothschild central banks are all over the world, and this is why they're doing all these different wars and that they do, because Albert Pike spoke of these things too, right? Right? The Freemasons. This is one of the things they wanted to do to bring it in. But I believe also they're trying to switch over and give the power over to China. So I don't think it's an accident that this is happening like this, because all the power is going to go, because China already has everything, the infrastructure, everything to do the what do you call it? The social credit scoring, to surveillance you, to do all the different things. They're at least 10 steps ahead of every place else in the world, right? Which that's all the things, the places that everybody's doing everywhere, you know, and they're breaking down their systems. And they're doing it in China. They're doing it in Russia. They're doing it in North Korea. They do it in Great Britain, right? They just said it. You have to have the digital ID in order to get a job in Great Britain. So this is all switching over to that. But they want to. That's why all the allies are switching over to China, because it's all a deep fake. So, you know, it's part of their thing. So if the Lord comes back, and this is supposed to be Esau's on top, then Lord, no, Esau's not on top. Moab is on top. The Chinese are on top. So your prophecy is wrong. According to your book, look who's on top. So now you crack the sky in the middle of World War III, and hey, we're not the ones on top. It's them. But who's ruling the banks? Who's funding the wars? Because each war is funded by the world bankers, which are Amalek. So, which goes back to Esau. That's why I went back to the son, the grandson, showing you the grandson is Esau, right? And that's what the Rothschilds are. The red shield, meaning red child, right? Red shield, or Rothschild, meaning red shield, meaning red child, saying that your child is like your defense, right? He'll carry on your thing to the next generation. That's going into them being red, meaning Esau or Edom, either one, right? Meaning red in the Hebrew, right? So it says, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows, right? And basically showing how he's being tripped up. And the hand is between the heel and the hand. Other questions asked us not, right? Asked that thou not, right? Because that's the way it's gonna trip them up, because they think they're gonna overextend and be in a rage and have these councils. Hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give everything over to China. It's gonna offset prophecy, right? Yeah. So yeah, come right here. This is Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 1, woe, which means what? Judgment, right? Weeping and gnashing of teeth unto the Babylon, which is America, right? And Asia, see, because this whole thing is the elites are finished with America. This is why you have these TV characters as these top officials, top people in America, because they're finished with America, and their plan was to give back in 2008. They had been saying that China was going to be the top country in the world, right? So they must be looking at it to be the top country doing this great reset through the digital system, right? That Novos Ordo Seclorum, right? Because they already have everything set up, the 6G, right? Yeah, the what do you call it? Yeah, the 6G. They have their social credit score, right? If you jaywalk across the street, you can get your thing knocked down, points knocked down. Now you can't ride a bus. Now you can't ride a train or plane or whatever. You can't. There's certain things now. You're punished. You're prohibited from or participating in society to certain degrees. And there's four levels to it, right? Put you in a category like class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. 4 being the bottom, right? You're outcast of society, right? So that's the type of thing that they're talking about doing, right? And making like a snitch system too. On top of that, people could take pictures of you, post it, send it to whatever AI system, website, whatever it may be, app that's on their phone or whatever it may be, right? So woe unto the Babylon and Asia, right? Being Moab, which is China, right? But it's also what? Who else is over there? I believe that's India, right? Because they're helping tear down the systems, right? They that's what even Elon was saying, that they're the ones who's capable to come in and do the computer systems. Meanwhile, they take over jobs, which they're doing that not just in America, they're even doing that in Russia, right? Sending in the people from India and North Korea, messing with the job market in Russia, which making it hard for the average Russian citizen to get a job. Basically, the same MO that they're doing in every place, blaming it on the immigrants, and then eventually bringing in the AI system, so that they're all part of that, right? And it's all systematically to tear down the system, right? Even the Strait of Hormuz thing, it's really to break down the system, which eventually is going to come into the dollar collapsing, right? And they're all involved. And woe unto the Egypt and Syria, right? Egypt being actual Egypt and Syria being that land. I believe it's Kuwait, right? Kuwait is the Syrians, right? So not Kuwait, yeah, not Kuwait, but Iran, Slovakia. Iran being Syria, Slovakia. Iran being Syria. So that's basically where they're at in that region, which is all gonna cause them to come up to World War III. That's what says, "Girt up yourselves with cloth of sack," right? Sackcloth, right? Which is for mourning, right? Under the Israelite custom, you basically mean you're in mourning. Someone died, and you put on sackcloth, and you cry. You know what I mean? You mourn, you reflect, and hair, right? And when you go into I believe it's Isaiah 47, it says, "Uncover the locks," right? Which goes into, when you go into 1 Corinthians 11, it says that a woman's hair is her glory. So that basically you're gonna lose your glory. It's gonna be a shame for glory. You're gonna exchange your glory for shame. It says, bewail your children. See, and that's what's happening right now. People in Iran, Israel, was it different places? I don't know if it's Kuwait or in Iraq, and all them other neighboring places, and all them other places in the Middle East are going to be bewailing their children, but especially Asia, and right, Egypt, Syria, which is Kuwait, right. So from all the way to the west of the four corners of the earth, of which is America, is going to be punished, all the way to the Middle East. Man, the Lord said that the slain of the Lord shall be many, and also it says that it's going to be the Lord is going to have bodies, or the slain of the Lord shall be from one end of the earth even into the other, right? So that's the thing that's happening right now. And it says bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. So World War III is at hand. It says, and a sword is sent upon you, and upon many, upon you, and who may turn it back? It's talking about the missiles, the ICBM missiles. A fire is sent, right? The missiles among you, and who shall quench it, right? And that fire is going to burn for a very long time from the missiles, but especially in America, right? But even in those places, China has a lot of trash that comes from Britain, because Britain has it's like I was watching a documentary where they don't have, I guess they don't have a way to bury their trash or put their trash anywhere. So everything that they get, they send it back to China, and then China sends it to the poorer parts of China, and there's mountains and mountains of trash, and the Lord's going to need to cleanse that part of China, and then also the world is going to rock to and fro. The whole earth is going to earthquake, right? It's going to send fire on you too, Asia, right? China, right? Because China has all that trash from Brazil. I mean, from Great Britain, so it needs to be cleansed anyway itself, right? It needs to be judged and cleansed. It has a mountain of trash over there from Great Britain, right? And it needs to be cleansed. That land needs to be cleansed over there in China. So the Lord says He's going to send fire on you as far as for judgment. Because why? He says, and thus Asia, right, which is China, that are partakers of the hope of Babylon. See, and that's what this whole thing is. You're a partaker into. You're going to switch everything over to you, and this is all part of your plan. This is why you all had these meetings with the rulers, with the shadow government, right? The Illuminati, the shadow government, whatever you want to call them, right? Your high one, these ones is scriptures speak about them being because it says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and wickedness in high places. And that's you people. You're the wicked ones in high places, man. Right? So, but because you think you're gonna switch everything over to China, and then when the Lord comes back, you can go, oh, well, Edom's not ruling. It's Chinese. It's Asia. It's the Moabs. It's the Moabites that's ruling. So your prophecy's wrong. No. But it's not. You think because you did the Bible destruction group and pulled out the Apocrypha that it's going to change what the Most High has to say about what goes down when He is the author and the finisher of everything, and then He has His mouthpiece to tell you that, hey, that's not so, right? Because you're partakers of the hope of Babylon, right? And that and are the glory of her person. Woo-hoo. Hey, man. So, hey, you're gonna get it too, right? Because that's all still Amalek is gonna be ruling over this thing. These Rothschild central banks showing you the Edomites are still be ruling. It says, woe, which means judgment, be unto thee, thou wretch, right? Because thou has made thyself like unto her. Yeah. You join with this whole system, right? you join with this whole system to micro C-hip everybody, to control everything, give you over to you be the world reserve currency, right? The yen or the yang or whatever you have. It'd be the yang digital dollar. It'd be the world currency or whatever they name it. But you'll be the one mostly controlling it. And then basically you'll whoever the president or whoever it is over here would still be like a president, because he'll just be one ruling over a providence, right? Because you're always going to have a president, like in the time of Daniel. Daniel, what was it? I think he was in both of the captivities, but I know was it the Medo-Persian Empire? Daniel, I believe Daniel was a president. He wasn't a ruler. He was just a president and a providence of the actual ruler. You know what I mean? And that's all this, what they're going to do is make China the head, basically centralize China over the whole entire world. And then you still have a so-called an American president, a president or a prime minister and all the other places. And, you just rule. And then you always have to go to China for basically for the one of all things, because hey, they have the industrial power behind it also as well. And that's how another way that they've been behind being partakers of Babylon, because they took all the jobs, sent them over to China, and now they can use that. You have to go to your enemy for the one of all things, which is ultimately Amalek, but they're gonna have a front man, which will be China, and then of course whoever's your leader is in your whatever providence of the elite is, right? So but that's why I said that thou wretch, because thou has made thyself like unto her, and has decked thy daughters, right, your other countries, because what are they connecting with? North Korea. And now North Korea is actually helping, it's partaking. North Korea is going up to Russia and taking the Russians out of business, acting like they're these like they're being invaded by foreigners, and taking them out of the actual Russian citizens out of jobs. But this is all organized chaos, basically, right? Right along with who else was it? China, North Korea. There was another Asian one that was with them too. Can't remember what it is, but there's another Asian country that's actually helping displace the citizens in Russia. But it's the same thing that's going on everywhere, where they're displacing citizens, giving the jobs over to AI, or giving it over to that's what it is. India. A lot of people from India. So that's why I said woe unto Asia, right? Because I believe India is in Asia, right? Asia is a partaker, right? Yeah, so you got a lot of those people from India, right? Because that's what even, what's his name said, Elon said, yeah, they need to hire a bunch of Indians, people from India, because they're more qualified to do the computer jobs, right? But not you Americans. So that's Asia. So they're decking their daughters and whoredom, right along with America. You know what I'm saying? And scamming the people. That's whoredom. You're basically you're selling your nasty nasty box to the people or to the countries, and then the people are reaping little to nothing, and you're going to bed with them in business. You're being a harlot. And all this is all about money, and exchanging over from physical currency over to the digital currency. And this is what they're doing, that they might it's like it please and glory in their lovers, right? These elites, these different things, going back to being the Rothschilds, the central bankers, the world bankers, which is ultimately Amalek at the end of the day, which have also desired to commit whoredom with thee. So they all this is a thing to bring in the Novos Ordo Seclorum. They're all part of this. It's a conspiracy, right? You know what I'm saying? But the whole thing about them is I had to keep, I had careful thought about that, because they like to throw in conspiracy theory. And when you go into the word theory just means thought. So they're basically they're trying to make you look like a nut because you're a thinking person. So conspiracy theory means conspiracy thinker. So, hey, you're doing a bunch of little things. So I think you're doing something not too good. You're doing some scrupulous, foul, decrepit stuff over here. Oh no, you must be crazy. You're one of those conspiracy theory. Well, shouldn't I be thinking? You should be a thinking person, a thinking man. You should think on your feet. When things ain't looking right, it probably is because it's not right. Right? When people go and have these great meetings of the world and then go, man, the world is still in trouble. So you mean every place that has these so-called troubles, you could sit in a building, eat lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, have all these different meetings without fighting each other? You know? That's crazy. But you can have it because you're deciding how you're going to mind control the people. Government, right? Govern means control, mint meaning mind, right? Just like if you the little paddle on the boat, on the back of the boat, when you turn the wheel on the boat, it's called a governor, right? And it governs it. It turns it to whichever way the boat to change, and that's what you do. Wherever you want the people to do, you put out either certain type of news, propaganda, certain understandings, which that's what they did as far as what he was saying. He created the that show, The Apprentice, to make Donald Trump look like he was competent. But as you can see, he's incompetent. It says, "Thou has followed her that hated that is hated." Slakia. Yeah, see, the Lord actually, but you thought it's going to be a great idea to, hey, well, we'll take on that and we'll be the next superpower. And yeah, and they're connecting up with North Korea, and North Korea is over there with all this pride and stuff over in Russia, but they also headed and sent troops over to Iran. Oh, and with Russia, right? They sent North Korea sent troops to help Russia. They're talking about sending some of their troops to help Iran, and then they shot off 4 of their nuclear missiles as a test, right? Just to show that they got this great pride that hey, they're the next people, they're the ones next going to be in charge, right? But they followed the one that the Lord hates, that's hated. But thou hast followed her, which is talking about America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, also known as spiritually known as Egypt or Assyria, that is hated in all her works. So basically, they start following the exact pattern that America has done, going into those type of works. You know, and that's what they're all doing. They're collapsing their system, collapsing their dollar, trying to tell the people there's no jobs for you. We're going to give the jobs over to AI to force everyone to have to get that micro C hit in order to bring in that Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? And all the inventions, right? Which that's what that micro C hip is. It's an invention, man. Right? And to fight against the Lord, because that's another thing what they're joined unto her with. They have plans to fight against Yahweh Shai. They've already got their laser weapons and certain gear to fight against the Lord. So that's another way how they have followed her that is hated. Right? It says, therefore saith Yahweh, I will send plagues, right? The nukes, right? That's what he said. You're gonna get hit with that fire upon thee. Upon thee, widowhood, poverty, right? That's what's going to happen. Widowhood, poverty. That's what America says. I should be a woman. I should not be a widow. I should not be a widow. I should not be in poverty. I should not have loss of children. And the Lord said, no. Then this day you're going to have all those things. You're going to be a widow. You're going to have loss of children. You're going to lose your entire kingdom. And see, because you're tied into America, that's going to happen to you, China and India, and all the rest of you countries, you kings that had that meeting with your rulers, your superiors, of the shadow government of the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it, right? You're going to have that what? Widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste their houses with destruction and death. Because that's what the Lord is going to bring upon you. He's going to take your kingdoms. He's going to take your power, right? And you're one with the beast. You're one with the beast and the whore, right? It says and it says and the glory of thy power. See, because China has a very powerful military. I believe India has a nuke. I'm thinking India has a nuke too. So the Lord's gonna allow you to shoot it off on America. You're gonna love that hole no more. But then guess what? It's gonna bring down all your infrastructures, all your powers. Everybody's finna shall be dried up, right? See, as a flower, the heat shall rise that is sent over thee, right? And that's them nukes going to be sent over you, and thus shall be weakened as a poor woman. Wow, right? Yeah, with strips, and as one chastised with wounds, so that thy mighty, see, yeah, your military and lover, right, which is America, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, shall not be able to receive thee. See, nobody's gonna help you. Russia's not gonna be able to help you. America's not gonna be able to help you. Right? The international bankers ain't gonna be able to help you. No one's gonna be able to receive you or America ever again. Right? So this is why are the heathen raging? Right? And you imagine what a vain thing. Yeah, come back right here because you come against Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and against his anointed, saying, right, to pick it back up, verse 3, Psalms chapter 2, verse 3, let us break the bands, right, asunder and cast away their cords from us, right? Because you're trying not to go into slavery. You're trying to offset prophecy so that all the nations don't go into slavery. Starting with Esau. Esau's like, he's really scared that he's going to go into slavery. All right? So he said, hey, let's just come together. Let's have these conversations together so that we don't go into slavery. Because it's looked like with these guys out here with these little tattered clothes, ripped up clothes, looks like a dress or whatever they want to call it. They're out there and damn, I'm having dreams. I'm having nightmares. I wake up having nightmares about being in chains, being at the bottom. I have dreams that I pierced Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, you're going to get it, man. And he that sitteth in heaven, right? Yeah, shall laugh. Hey, see? And the Lord, that's what you're trying to offset prophecy. You're trying not to go into slavery. And you think of, hey, if I just give the power over to China, when the Lord comes back, you could say, hey, the Edomites ain't ruling. It's China. China's the ruling power on the earth now. So that ain't true. No, you're going to be in World War III, right? The Lord's going to lead all you to valley of Yahweh Shaphat. You're going to be in war. You're going to be destroyed. And then the kingdom's coming to Yahweh Shai. And then the 144,000 and, the rest of the elect and all of Israel by default, by the blessings of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's gonna come to all Israel, even the rebels. The rebels they're gonna die. Yeah, it says let the multitude perish. Then they should know of death by pain, but they're gonna return. They're gonna be able to return and inherit the land that was promised to their fathers. You know, after it get through smoldering and whatever, and then the Lord's gonna have you nations to cleanse and build our city, to build our world up. That's why the Lord said, he that sitteth in heavens shall laugh, which he's already laughing. So you might as well count this as already like a past tense thing. But we understand this is things to come, but it's already a done deal because whatever the Lord puts out will never go out void. It's basically already a done deal. Said the Lord, right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash shall have them in what? In derision. See, so you think you're getting one over on the Lord, but you're not. You're going to be in derision, which you're already in. You're delusional. He said Trump is having a meltdown. Things ain't nothing like what he thought it was going to be. Says then shall Psalms 2 and 5. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath. Right? See, now, and that's one thing is through the prophets, but one thing is when Yahushua show up in person. Right? It says the nation shall well because of him. Why? Because you're going into slavery. And vex them with sore displeasure. See, right now you're on top, you're bragging, you're braggadocious, but you're finna come down. So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To your sisters, you achwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. And above all, Kwam Yasharallah.